and salam everyone. So welcome to Adventure Evolve, and today we'll be talking on how to change the gear oil for the Vespa VBB. This is my Vespa and it belongs to my grandfather actually, and it's been in the family for decades, and I recently had an interest in Vespas and all this. It's a rare interest, and you've got to have a special kind of interest in things to like such kind of stuff. Otherwise, people are going to be like, "Why you spend so much money on this thing? You could get a better bike." Well, that's not the thing. People wouldn't look at even a heavy bike the same way as they would look at a Vespa. Anyways, I know it's not clean because it's been raining a few days, but I'll do a separate video on that. But for now, let's just focus on how to change the gear oil for the Vespa. So here's the Vespa, and well, this is here where the engine lies in the right cowl, and if we go on the other side, this is where there's the storage box in the left cowl. And I've got specially these seats made from a guy who makes hide seats for horse riding, and they're pretty neat and pretty gives a good color and touch to the Vespa. Anyways, so I'll be taking off the right cowl, expose the engine, and show to you guys where the places for changing the oil is. That's the kickstart. So take off the cowl. There's this pin holding the cowl to the side. I'm going to gently press it out and release it. Now it's loose. I'm going to open it like this, and here comes the engine, the beautiful vintage 150cc engine. It's air cooled, and this is how it kickstarts. This is the gearbox over here, and from here is where we'll drain the oil, and we're going to add the oil over here. I'll show that to you. Here's the capacitor, and here's the air intake and the injector carburetor over here. I'll try if I can start the engine for you. Give it a little choke. So, as you heard, the beautiful sound of a two-stroke vintage Vespa. Now, I just did that so I could get the oil and all those particles in the gear oil running in an emulsion, so they don't settle down, and I have a good drain, and when I put in the fresh oil, it's more fresh in a way. The old particles don't contaminate it as much. So this here is the engine, and as you can see over here, that is the oil changing point. I'm going to take it out, and that is where we'll add the new oil in. And to drain it, there's another bolt on the underside over here. Hard to see a little bit, but I guess, let me focus in. Yep, there you can see. There it is. This one, we're going to take that out, and that is from where we'll drain the old oil. So to change the oil, I have with me gloves, because prolonged engine oil contact isn't good for the skin, can cause skin cancers over the long run. I've got 20W50 oil that I'll be using in the gearbox, an empty box I took from the kitchen, because it's no longer in use, and will drain the old oil. I've got a oil gun with me. I'll add the new oil from this. It's got a nozzle, that's why it's easier. I've got 10 and 12 number wrenches that I'll use to open the bolt. So I'll put the box over here, wear the gloves. Well, wearing gloves isn't necessary at all, but I mean it's just a precaution and a thing, and also I don't want to get my hands messy with old burnt used engine oil, and of course the safety factor as well. So okay, I'm gonna lie down and using this I guess this is not gonna open. 11 number. Yep. So this is an 11 number wrench that I am using. The bolt has a washer on top of it, of course, to seal it and prevent the oil from leaking all the time when we're traveling and using the Vespa. So what I'll have to be careful when I put this bolt back with the new engine oil inside is that I don't over tighten it, because I don't want to use another new washer because I don't have one at the moment. So I'll try to use this one, but ideally you should, and there goes the old engine oil. Yeah, it's definitely a little due for changing. And here is the washer and the bolt. I'm gonna put it to one side over here, and I'll let it drain completely. So as you can see over here, the old oil is almost completely drained, and definitely it's darker and needs to change. Usually you don't have to change your Vespa's gear oil as frequently, but since this is the second time I'm changing it after a prolonged while as well, it's been sitting for I guess 5 or 6 months, which is pretty overdue. So the engine oil, it starts to turn rancid, so you've got to change it with time as well. So here what I'm taking out right now has a washer as well, and this is from where I'll add the new engine oil. I took off the gloves because I had to handle the camera. And there we go. And there's the seal. Put it right there. Now I'll add the new oil from here. So now I'll add the new oil, 20W50. And I'll add it into the oil gun. Pretty fascinating little thing. And there goes the fresh oil. Now we'll see how much of it goes into the Vespa, and as soon as it starts overflowing, we're gonna turn it off and put the lid back on. So now what I'm going to do is, before filling in the new oil, put the old bolt and washer back, because of course we don't want the new oil draining out. And then using the 11 number wrench, I'm gonna tighten it just enough, not too much. Okay, so it's definitely tight enough now. Now I'll take the oil gun and using this funnel start pouring oil into it. Just so you guys can see, this is how it basically squirts oil out. So I'm gonna keep adding oil until it starts to overflow, and then I'll add the bolt back on. Okay, so the oil has started to overflow. I was adding and it's overflowing. So that it has a level over here, so that means it's reached the level. We're not gonna overdo this. What I'll do now is take the bolt and put it over here and tighten it. Once again, just enough, not too much as to damage the washer. Man, that's some really oily business. And now using the 10 number wrench, sorry, 11, I'm going to tighten it. Alright, so yep, it's tight enough. So right now basically we're done changing the gear oil, and of course it's a wet clutch plate because it's getting oil, and I'm just gonna use this cloth, clean the place up a bit. So preferably you should change the oil at like every 1,000 kilometers, I'd say, or you can even go up to 3,000.